drafting help now from Eric Almirola. They are side by side and side drafting off the top of 2.
Suarez wide off the corner. Almirola had a thought of going up the middle. He'll back away and provide the drafting help that Suarez needs to keep the lead. Matter of fact, Almirola will shove him up. That is now a 2-car breakaway up front.
By 2 car lengths, back to the side-by-side racing from third on back, led by Justin Haley, who now closes back in on Eric Almirola in second, and race leader Daniel Suarez.
Sonoma winner Daniel Suarez got the win. He'll race for a championship starting next week. Right behind him, Eric Almirola. He needs to win to get in. Behind Eric, you've got Justin Haley trying to do the same thing.
Almirola needs to win. Suarez does not, but he sure would love to do so. They're shuffling the deck back around third spot. Haley will dive bomb to the bottom of the racetrack. He cuts off in advance by Denny Hamlin. Now he'll go to the top, but he's got nobody with him.
Further back, Kyle Busch gets kicked 3 wide. He's outside all by himself, while up to second is Denny Hamlin. Behind him, Chris Buescher and Daniel Hemrick, a part of the mix as well.
Daniel Hemrick now goes side by side with Buescher for the third spot. Second car in line on the bottom, just behind Daniel Suarez. Now Hemrick is going to squeeze back into the outside lane behind Hamlin.
23 laps to go, and the intensity meter's already pegged here at Daytona. Side by side for the lead. Daniel Suarez and Denny Hamlin go wheel to wheel at the front of the field. They're stacked up 3 wide, multi-rows deep.
Suarez on the inside, Hamlin on the outside. Oh, they're in the wall. Denny Hamlin's in the fence. Oh, and the field is coming apart. Everybody is involved. There is not one car that has made it through. First man finally through is the Austin Dillon machine. Creeping around the outside of the field now is Cody Ware. Other than that, just about everybody is in it in turns 1 and 2.
And all of a sudden, it has begun to rain here at Daytona. The fans begin to scatter after a massive pileup. In turn number 1, back to Dave Moody.
I don't know if the rain caused it or not, Jeff, but they sure did get into it in a hurry. Denny Hamlin's car, torn to bits, has come to a stop in front of us. The Chris Buescher machine, Daniel Suarez is here. Ty Dillon is here. Gilliland trying to make his way through. The front of that car is torn all apart. Chase Elliott's machine totally demolished, trying to limp back to pit road, as is now Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Here comes the Eric Jones machine. It is an elephant's graveyard here in turns 1 and 2.
Just 11 laps ago, lap 126, Austin Dillon was part of a multi-car crash. He was going backwards down pit road. He lost a lap. 4 laps later, under the green, he gets another caution flag. The beneficiary of the free pass, Austin Dillon, on this crash, tiptoes his way through the minefield. Suddenly it's raining at the World Center of Racing. Austin Dillon in 11 laps was crashed a lap down. He's the leader at Daytona.
But not so fast. Yes, it's raining here, but the sun is out. Some of the fans have scattered just because it literally opened up. We have not lost the track, not by a long shot. So hang on, this is not over, not by a long shot. 22 to go. Austin Dillon is shown, and now Ricky Stenhouse all by himself just cuts down a tire. This is the kind of day we're having, and slides down right in front of us. There's nobody even around him, Alex.
No, but the fans that have stayed in the grandstands are saluting Ricky Stenhouse for keeping that car off the outside wall.
And now he's stuck.
He is. The grass is absolutely saturated. There's still some standing water down around the drains down there on what we call the ball field. And unfortunately, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is stuck in the mud.
He was on the lead lap, so this could be a killer for Stenhouse, because he's liable to go a lap down because he can't move the car. Stuck in the mud. What a race we have. And we still have 21 laps to go. Yes, it is raining, but lightly after a wild crash in turn number 1. Back at Daytona under the caution flag, the weather. How crazy is it here? How about this? The front straightaway, start-finish line, we're looking down upon it. completely saturated. What about 100 yards away?
Yeah, that would be across the 100-yard green grass to pit lane. Jason Toy directly across from us. Is it even raining right there?
It just now started to rain. So when you guys talked about the fact that Ricky Stenhouse spun it up on the front stretch, the rain started right there. And for the longest time, it was just raining, literally about 75 to 100 yards in front of us. Just now starting to work its way towards the infield as Ricky Stenhouse's damaged race car makes its way back to the garage area with Ricky still inside the race car.
All right, NASCAR has brought the cars down pit road at the front of the field. Austin Dillon, he is scored as your race leader. He needs to win to get in. More on how the leaderboard looks in a moment. It is flat pouring here at the start-finish line. What about out in turn number 2 where Dave Moody is?
Bright sunshine, and we have not felt a single drop yet, Jeff. It's a very strange situation. I don't know if that shower that hit front straightaway down toward the entrance of turn 1 might have played a role in triggering this crash or not. But as of right now, turn 1, or at least the bulk of it, looks perfectly fine. Certainly turn 2 in the back straightaway, dry as a bone.
Mike Bagley, the Daytona Superstretch.
Not one drop. Matter of fact, we are bathed in brilliant sunshine over here with no precipitation falling at all. Kyle, Ricky, what about turn 4?
Yeah, same thing out here in turn 4. It is a nice, bright, sunny day. A little cloud cover off to our right where this shower apparently is coming from on the front straightaway, but the fans in turn 4 are wondering what's going on because not a drop here at this end of the speedway.
Well, I got news for you, Kyle. The fans here at the front straightaway are dancing in the rain. Some of them, yes, have left and gone down underneath the grandstands, while others are enjoying this opportunity to just hang in the rain.
They are indeed. How hard is it raining here on the front side? We've got gigantic puddles here. It's absolutely pouring here at the Tri-Oval. Just crazy. That shows you just how big the Daytona International Speedway facility is at this point. The cars have been brought down the pit lane and have stopped just shy of the start-finish line. You mentioned Austin Dillon. He's being scored the race leader. Should this not happen and we not get back underway and he can win this thing, he would be in the playoffs. Then you look at that battle between those two drivers for that 16th spot as far as the points go. As it sits, Martin Truex Jr. is 7 points ahead of Ryan Blaney.
Why don't we do this while we sit now under the red flag, flat pouring here at the start-finish line, but nowhere else. Georgia, you're at the Care Center. You've been busy all day.
I sure am at the Care Center. Justin Haley, seen and released. And Justin, can you put into words what just happened?
It's just absolutely unacceptable that we raced in the rain for a whole lap, and then we all wrecked because it was raining. So had a fast Celsius leaf filter protection Chevrolet, but probably could have called the rain a little earlier there.
Justin Haley.
Well, that's a tough break for Justin Haley. So saying it started raining down there as they went off into turn number 1.
What about Kevin Harvick, Jason Toy?
Yeah, Kevin jumped out of his car and came over here and got on top of the war wagon with the crew chief, and with Rodney Childers kind of laid back, chilled back a little bit, letting the folks upstairs do what they got to do. But take us through that wreck out there. What happened and how did you get through it?
It was raining. Yeah. That's what happened. There was a green flag and rain doesn't work. But, everybody's done a good job on our Mobile One Ford Mustang, and if this caution light's right, we win. if it doesn't quit raining.
All right, talk about the racing here today. We know about the intensity for a lot of drivers that were trying to race their way in here throughout. Plus, you're watching the weather. So how intense was it out there?
It just raised that intensity level to a pretty high level just because of the fact that you just didn't know when the rain was going to come. So it was definitely a high intensity, but that's what we expected today.
All right, old Happy Harvick sitting here looking at the computers, hoping that 4 car might find itself on top of the pylon.
Let's go back to the Care Center in Georgia Hannaberry.
Denny Hamlin checked and cleared for the infield Care Center. Denny, what happened?
We ran into rain in middle turn 1, just lost it.
Is there anything you could have done to save that? It happened too quickly.
Just throw the caution before the rain came. We had rain down the front, so about 10 seconds before we got into turn 1, it was raining. So I'm sure the fans felt it, and then they watched us all piled in there.
Thank you. Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Obviously, Denny can see whether or not there are drops on the windshield, and when you haul it off into turn number 1 at 190 plus, If there's any moisture at all on the racetrack, you're going to be slipping and sliding. By the way, a little note here on Austin Dillon. We put him under the green flag on lap 133. Austin Dillon will be credited with passing 22 cars in a matter of, 4 laps, 5 laps, whatever it was, 22 cars. And during that crash, and while it's unofficial, he went through past roughly 11 cars. So the crash is unfolding. He took to the apron, still had to avoid cars down there, and passed 11 cars to get to the lead that he now holds.
Yeah, and that was an incredible drive on his part. We're watching the whole thing. It looks like the whole group of cars, Jeff, was mashed up against the wall. And it really did clear the bottom lane. But he went a step farther. He went all the way down to the apron, kept the car under control, was able to weave his way through there. And then finally the caution flag did fly, and they declared him the leader at that point.
Give some clarity to the rule. When the caution is called, the car out front that is able to continue forward would be considered the race leader, and Austin Dillon was the one able to do that. As Dave Moody described, nearly the entire field crashing over in turns 1 and 2.